Morning, everyone. This is my watch list for Monday, May 4th. All right, so what's happening? You see these candles this morning. This is news coming out. I think today is going to be a very news-driven session. All right, it appears that a U.S. warship was trying to enter the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran was firing shots at it. So that's the news that came out. The U.S. denied it. Iran said it did fire shots at it. So we don't really know. That's why it bounced back, because the U.S. denied it. But this is going to be a very news-driven session, in my opinion, because today they're trying to get ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So I think today is going to be a bit all over the place. But let's see what happens. 716 is my demand on SPY. If you get below 716, this turns into a sell. 725 is the high from Friday. That's my supply. Right? Very simple. Demand and supply levels today. We'll see what happens. You guys see the 716 level was the previous all-time high. So if we get under 716, then it's going to sell into 712. Right? Remember 712. And then if we lose 712, it goes to 708, which was that low from last Wednesday. All right. So 716, if it holds, can look for longs. If we get below, can look for shorts. QQQ, same thing. It had some pretty big sell candles here in the pre-market based on that news that came out. Again, like we don't have any verified confirmation of either side yet. I think it's going to be a pretty news-driven session, but this is pretty obvious levels here as well, right? 676 was the highs from Friday, where we rejected multiple times, as well as in the pre-market. Above 676, 676, this turns into a long. And then below 670, it's a short back into 666, which was the previous highs. If we hold 670, can look for longs there as well, right? If we get below 670, can look for shorts. Let's look at some individuals. Apple is all about this 276. If we hold 276, it's a long. If we get below 276, this turns into a short, okay? That's the big level. AMD reports earnings this week. Reports earnings on Tuesday, tomorrow. So I will not be touching AMD today. 355 was the short that we took on Friday. That was a nice level. I made like a $6 move off that 355, but I'm not touching this because this week they have earnings and the contracts will be juiced. All right, after earnings we can trade AMD. Amazon 266. I mentioned this last week. It reclaimed the 266 and ripped. Now it has to hold 266 for this to continue being a long-sided trade. If it gets back below 266, it turns into a short back into 262. Okay. Google is just so overextended. I mean, look at this daily. It's so overextended after earnings. I don't have anything on Google. We'd have to, it'd have to pull back, or potentially can look for rejects off of this 400, this key level 400. But I just don't have anything high conviction on Google right now, unless it starts breaking down levels like 380. If it broke down 380, you could potentially look for shorts there. But you don't really want to be taking this long above 388 because it's just in no man's land. Okay. Meta bounced off of support at 600 on Thursday. If it gets below 600, turns into a short. All right. I also have supply above. This is obviously one of the weakest betas, so if we tap into that supply at 630, can look for shorts there, or if we get below 600, can look for shorts. Microsoft, not watching anything. Netflix is kind of just selling again. It has to hold. Remember this demand we talked about? That was a really big sell candle on Friday on the daily, right? So 91 to 90 is demand. If we lose that, then we're going to fill the gap. Remember I talked about this gap. So if we lose 90, we'll fill the gap into 86.50, and that's something that we could actually watch for. If Netflix becomes weak, then we can look for shorts under 90. Okay. Nvidia bouncing off of my demand pre-market 196. Right, 196 is big. I'll show you guys on the daily. 196 is huge. Okay. If we lose 196, then we can invert this entire candle from Tuesday the 14th all the way back down to 190. So it's that potential $6 move on Nvidia. If we lose 196, yeah, my target is 190. All right, pretty big move down we could make if that happens today. We'll see. Palantir reports earnings after hours. Okay, today after hours they report earnings. Cannot day trade this, but we can potentially trade after they report earnings. If it makes a big move up or down, we can see what happens there. Okay, it's actually trading into supply right now. right into earnings. 148 is my big supply, and it's trading there right now. So we'll see what happens after earnings, but can't touch this until after the report. All right. Tesla, I talked about this 383 level, right? I talked about this last Friday, and it reclaimed and ripped. I wound up taking the AMD short instead, but this was also my number one watch on Friday, and this reclaim of 383 was a ripper. Okay. So today you can look for longs into 383. As long as it holds 383, this is a long on Tesla. It's a bull structure now, right? It's a bullish structure. We reclaimed that after the earnings, after they sold off, we reclaimed, and now this is a bullish structure as long as we hold 383. Okay, so we can look for longs into that 383. All right, so that's my watch for today. Let's see what happens. Let's have a good session, good start to the week. Lots of earnings again this week, so just be cautious of swinging any names that have earnings. All right, and I'll see you guys on live.